Good morning, Dallas County Democrats. One more time, good morning, Dallas County Democrats. Thank you all for being here. I see so many of our friends, allies, party leaders, folks from across the state of Texas. This is your Dallas County Democratic Party Convention. Thank you all for being here today. We have an amazing convention and amazing speakers coming up in line for you today. Look, this is our inaugural. This is the first time that we ventured to do this countywide convention in one location. And thank you all for showing up in overwhelming numbers to show that our party is strong. You did that during early voting. Dallas County led the state of Texas and our early vote numbers. And we had record turnout on election day. That's because our party is strong. So this is your convention. Make sure you make yourself at home. We have party business to conduct. But before we do, we're going to hear from a few amazing speakers, hear from some folks who are presenting to us today, and then we'll jump into our party business. Thank you. Are you enjoying the DJ so far? All right. Did y'all enjoy breakfast this morning for the folks who were there? All right, we're going to have an amazing convention. If you would like to file a resolution, you can do that by going to our resolutions committee room, which is upstairs. If you'd like to file a resolution, you can do that before that time is closed. But before we get started, there are a few folks with our party business. There are a few folks who want to say hello to us, some who've traveled from across the state to be with us. You may know him. That is our Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate. James Talarico is in the building today. We also have a number of elected officials and candidates. If you are a candidate for office, one of our nominees, will you please stand and be recognized at this time? Make sure you say hello to these folks and get to know them throughout the day. If you are one of our amazing elected officials in Dallas County, will you please stand and be recognized? Make sure you stop them and thank them for the work that they're doing. All right? So you're going to hear from a number of individuals. Talked about Representative Talarico, but we also have a nominee right here from Congressional District 30, our new nominee. Democratic nominee for Congressional District 30, none other than Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Haynes III. We'll hear from him in just a moment as well. Look, this convention is simple. People asked us throughout the primary, what did you do, what did Dallas County do to make sure that the energy was high? Number one, we galvanized, we organized, and we put together a slate of candidates that was appealing to you. Not only did we do that, but we made sure that our party was strong. And that's not going to stop today. We're making sure that we're going to unify our party. We know that there's some healing that needs to happen in Dallas. Right? We're all aware of how Election Day ended on March 3rd. And so today is a day for us to unify, to organize, and to chart our path forward for what kind of party we want America to see us being. So thank you all for being here this morning, and let's have a great convention.
And next we have the Star Spangled Banner. If everyone could please stand to your feet.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And welcoming Pastor Ricky G. Rush.
Bless you. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to offer just a brief word of prayer. And for those of you who believe in prayer, I've already prayed for the DJ. Don't worry about that. Let's bow our heads, please. Father, we thank you today for bringing us together to inspire people to leave energized, hopeful, and committed to serving others. Thank you for this freedom to be able to do so. Lord, we want to pray for a renewed vision for our future today. Healing from past frustrations or divisions. We thank you for a shared commitment to serve the greater good. Now, Lord, as we complete this day, renew our hope for what we can build together, and let us gather some great sparks of solutions and not just some decisions. We leave this place ready to serve with compassion, ready to serve one another. And we just give you glory for all who are witnessing health. We pray that we are not going to allow our feelings to cancel our future. We give you glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
And please welcome to the stage our convention co-chairs, the Honorable John Bryant, the Honorable Pauline Madrano, and the Honorable Miss Eve Williams.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see all of you this morning. We're not gathered here today for business as usual. We're here because something fundamental is on the line. The promise of America that your voice matters, your future matters, your dignity matters, is all under pressure right now. This is not a drill. This is a defining moment. Right now, under this administration, we're being tested. Our patience, our unity, our faith in democracy, and history is watching on what we're going to do next. Because at every turning point in this country, it wasn't the comfortable or the complacent who made change. It was people like us, organized, determined, and unafraid. Democrats fought for Social Security, for Medicare, for civil rights, for workers' rights, for voting rights. Not because it was easy, because it was necessary. And now it's our turn. Thank you. We believe health care is a right. We believe in strong public schools. We believe workers deserve fair wages and dignity. And we believe democracy is worth fighting for. Look around this room. It's power. People who knock on doors in rain and cold and in the heat. People who refuse to sit down when it matters the most. But let's be clear about the stakes. Rights are being challenged, voices are being silenced, and too many of our folks are being told that their votes doesn't count. So no, we can't afford to be quiet. We can't afford to be tired. We can't afford to sit this one out. Because when we organize, what do? We win. When we show up, we win. When we stand together, we win. So this is the moment, right now, to rise up, and as they say, go bigger, go louder, to bring someone with you, and then you know what? Bring 10 more with you. Because democracy is not a spectator sport. It is a fight. Folks, friends, we have 235 days to organize, mobilize, and win. Thank you.
Good morning. I know I'm in high cotton when I see all these really important people here today. I'm not an honorable, but I am honored to be on the stage with Honorable Bryant and Honorable Medrano. And I want to thank Chair Cardall and, of course, Pastor Rush for allowing me to co-host this great event. Let me get straight to my remarks. This election in November is not about personalities. It's not about who you supported in the primary. It's what happens next. In Dallas, we have a real race. Real people showed up. People chose real sides. Some stood with Jasmine, others stood with Tallarico. And that's exactly how democracy is supposed to work. Primaries are where we compete, but November is where we decide. And if you don't make that shift from competition to coalition, we lose more than an election. We lose momentum. We lose representation. We lose democracy as we've always known it. But what about those people who are still frustrated because their candidate didn't win? We have a responsibility to come together as one voice. You have a responsibility to making sure everybody you know understands what's at stake. We're already filling the Republicans' platform. They're playing chess. And the next move is to pass the SAVE Act, which requires citizenship verification beyond just a standard driver's license. Additionally, Married women might need to provide documentation for their name change. And to all my sisters who have been married multiple times, remembering your first husband might be worse than remembering where you're supposed to go to vote. Seriously though, we have to help our community heal past these primaries. This is where leadership comes in, not just from the candidates, but from all of us. Leadership means saying, I may not have gotten my first choice, I know I didn't, but I'm still in this fight. Leadership means talking to your neighbor, talking to your coworker, talking to your family, and reminding them that November really matters. Now let me speak personally for a moment. I was born before the Voting Rights Act of '65. I know I don't look like it, that's good. I'm blessed. I was too young to know what was so important, but I remember the passion in the '60s. I remember the dinner table conversations. And I come from a political family that, and I've been blessed to have attended several national conventions. So when I talk about voting, it's not just routine. I see it as a fight for rights. We're watching this administration blow so much smoke that we get lost on what's really important. We have to keep our eye on the sparrow. So let me ask you, who are you bringing to the fold? What's the young person in your life that hadn't voted yet? Who's the co-worker that says, my vote don't count? Who's the family member who has just simply checked out? They're not going to show up because of a speech. They're going to show up because of you. Each one, teach one. Before Election Day, call somebody, text somebody, drive somebody to the polls. Don't vote alone. Just like you don't drink alone, don't vote alone. Be the reason that somebody else votes. Because when we multiply our voices, we increase our power. When we increase our power, we take back our democracy. And when we take back our democracy, we can continue going forward again. Let's get focused, don't get caught up in the Republican smoke, and don't let no one you know sit this one out. Thank you for your time.
I'm John Bryant, State Representative. I represent the heart of Dallas County. This has already started and will continue to be the greatest year in the history of the Democratic Party in Texas. This is the year that we take back Texas from 30 years of Republican rule. This is the year. The Democratic primary that we just had statewide had more Democrats voting in the primary than Republicans for the first time in memory. We saw a resurgence of Democratic interest that exceeds anything that we've seen in our recent memory here, and there's a good reason for it. Why did that happen? It happened because the people saw Democrats starting to fight again. That's why we saw this turnout. We saw Jasmine Crockett week after week after week walking into the lion's den and speaking truth to power to those Republicans in Washington, D.C. We saw James Tallarico week after week after week ripping the covers off phony Republican religiosity called Christian nationalism and doing it with courage and skill. We saw Texas House Democrats break quorum and go to Chicago to stop the Republicans from being able to redistrict our state. For the first time in memory, Democrats have a candidate against the Republicans in every single office in Texas. Thanks to a great state Democratic chairman, Kendall Scudder, we have every single statewide race has a Democrat in it. Every race for Congress has a Democrat. Every race for the Texas House every race for the Texas Senate. That's where we are today. And what inspired that? What inspired that was 30 years of Republican rule, and what has it brought us? 67 billionaires in Texas today own more wealth than 2/3 of all the people in our state, 21 million people. That's the situation that the Republicans have brought to us. We have the 5th highest property taxes in the country, but we're 47th in the nation in the state effort that we make for public education. Where has all the money gone? That's the question we're going to be asking this year. We have the most uninsured people in the United States, in Texas, the most people lacking health insurance. We're 48th in the nation in our abilities to serve the people that need mental health services. We're 48th in the nation in health care in general across the board. Instead of supporting and working to give an excellent education to 5.5 million public school students, instead they come up with $1 billion to give vouchers to a handful of private school students, 70% of whom already are in private school. That's what Republican government means. A $7.25 minimum wage. Really? In 2026, $7.25 minimum wage, a redistricting bill designed to break all precedent, designed to artificially eliminate Democratic members of Congress, also with the purpose of making sure that the politicians pick their voters instead of the voters picking their politicians. That's what Republican government has amounted to. Well, I could go on and on. The list is very, very long. This year is the year that we turn it around. And we turn it around only in one way, and that's when the public sees Democrats fighting. That's what they saw in this year. That's why they came out to vote. We've got to make sure that fight goes on through Election Day in November, and it doesn't stop once we have everybody elected. We got to make sure as Democrats, speaking just as a Democrat today, that we are the advocates for the public interest, and we're making sure our Democratic nominees do what they said they would do when they came to us and asked to be nominated. We're going to win. We're going to start governing Texas again. We're going to make life better for everybody. Just like we have a blue county in Dallas, and we enjoy looking left and right and enjoying everybody, no matter what their sexual orientation, no matter what their race, no matter what their religion. We want the rest of the state to enjoy what we have, and that's what we're going to do in 2026. Thank you very much.
Give us just 1 second, guys.
I've been selling my soul, working all day. I want to make a statement tonight about the work that we've done as a county. Overtime hours. The work that we've done collectively, the work that we've done together. The party is moving forward. Our party is moving forward. It's reflective of the people in this room. What the world's got to people like me, people like you, wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in this world with an old soul.
Your party is here.
But we are not going anywhere, and we are going right now to make our voices heard.
Stop the steal! We don't need more GOP rule in America.
I want you to look out here. This is Texas. what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end, cause the rich men know the rich men.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Dr. Frederick Haynes III, Democratic nominee for Congressional District 30.
Thank you so much. Let me express my appreciation to our host for this convening. I'm so grateful, especially to my colleague, the brilliant Pastor Ricky Rush. I thank him for his leadership and for the extraordinary hospitality that characterizes all that he does. And to be here on the South Side in this facility sends a powerful message. Number one, it says that Democrats, we don't believe in proselytizing faith, but we don't run away from faith. And we have no problem whatsoever allowing our values of justice and freedom to inform our politics. And so it's a good thing to be in the house right here at the inspiring body of Christ. Thank you so much, Pastor Rush. It is also good to be on the South Side. It is also good to be in Dallas County, because Dallas County, as far as I'm concerned, is the scene of a crime that took place on March 3rd. And Republican fingerprints are all over the crime of disenfranchisement and voter suppression that took place on March 3rd. And so it's good to be at the scene of the crime to pick out the Republican fingerprints that are on all that evidences the crime. But it's also great to be here in a county that showed up and showed out, not only on March 3rd, but we showed up and showed out during early voting, symbolizing if we did it then, we gonna come November, do it one more time. I'm excited because of the fact that I am privileged to serve as the nominee for the historic District 30 for the United States Congress. I say historic because it was birthed because of the fight of the late legendary Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. Eddie Bernice Johnson gave her life ensuring that we would have representation. Eddie Bernice Johnson did everything in her power to ensure not only that our votes would count, but she made sure that we had representation when those votes were counted. And so I stand here on the shoulders of an icon in Eddie Bernice Johnson, but also a fierce firebrand of a fighter named Jasmine Crockett. I like to clock it with Crockett because Crockett is courageous and lives rent-free in the head of every Republican in this nation, including the one in the White House. And so we stand here on the shoulders of that fierce firebrand of a fighter, Jasmine Crockett. But as we stand here, I cannot help but right now reflect on words that were uttered while I was serving on a panel during a show that was presided over by Roland Martin. Professor Greg Carr of Howard University made this statement that for me calls for self-interrogation, as it is an indictment that is insightful on what has often happened to our beloved party. Listen to what Dr. Greg Carr said. He said, "The Democratic Party never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity." That broke my heart, to hear Professor Carr make such an indictment. May our gathering today all across this state, but specifically right here in Dallas County, calls us to make the most of this moment. This is our opportunity. This is our opportunity to transform this state. And hear me well, if we transform Texas, watch this, will cause the rest of the nation to follow. This is our opportunity. You recognize what opportunities are. Opportunities are born out of crises that are problematic, but they set the stage to become a platform for visionary leaders who believe that leadership solves problems. Leadership strategizes for power. Leadership serves the people. That's what leadership does. And whenever there is a crisis, and right now we are in the midst of a Republican-induced nightmare, a nightmare that is doing everything in its power to put democracy in a grave through the SAVE Act. I got to do that one more time because the SAVE Act is really a grave act that will put democracy in a casket. And we are here because as Democrats, we recognize Republicans, they lack vision. Republicans don't have solutions. Republicans only look out for their big billionaire buddies. And right now we are in the midst of a crisis in this nation, a crisis where we have to have enough fire to put ice out, a crisis where we as Democrats have to not only have fire to put ice out, but in the words of the late great Reverend Jesse Jackson, reset this nation on a course that is more humane and just and peaceful, especially when we have a nation that is now being put into a war over in Iran, a war that has not been sanctioned or voted on by Congress, and yet Congress is being called upon to pass a $200 billion bill in order to further a war that they have not, or a war that they have not ordained. I'm simply saying we're in a Republican-induced nightmare, and this Republican-induced nightmare calls for a Democratic vision that generates a Democratic movement. And when we do that, we can make this nation one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I like that about the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party recognizes if we are to seize this opportunity, opportunities also come when we seize the moment. We don't wait for the moment, but we take advantage of the moment. That's why Dr. King said now is the time, as he spoke about the fierce urgency of now. And I've got to remix Dr. King in the Freddie Haynes version and say now is the time for us to mobilize and organize. Now is the time for us to spend time engaging in civics education. Now is the time to do all we can to make sure that we articulate our democratic mission with a clear democratic message. Now is the time for us to stand 10 toes down on what it means to be a democracy. Breaking it down, it means people power, and when people are powered, the good news is the power of the people is greater than that of the people who call themselves in power. Now is the time, and that's why the poet put it like this: I have only just a minute, 60 seconds in it, forced upon me. I can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Now is the time to recognize when Dr. King said the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward justice, that Dr. King then went out and pushed the arc toward justice. So now is the time to push the arc toward justice and ensure that everyone has the right to vote. Now is the time to not settle for a minimum wage, but a true cost of living wage. Now is the time to make sure we aim at universal health care, starting with Medicare for all. Now is the time that we stand 10 toes down on what it means to be a democracy. Now is the time, and I simply put it like this: it's this time because this Republican nightmare has me feeling like Grandmaster Flash in the Furious Five when they said it's like a jungle. Sometimes it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle. Sometimes it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. And then Grandmaster said, don't push me because I'm close to the... Yeah, y'all ain't been in church all your life. I'm simply saying we're in the midst of a Republican nightmare, but we are called upon to generate a democratic movement based on democratic values, and that democratic movement, watch this, will understand that we must bring in those who have been othered. That's why we call ourselves the Big Tent Party, because we don't believe in ostracizing and othering, but we believe that everybody is important. All of us are special. Red, brown, yellow, black, and white, straight, gay, we're all precious in the sight of God. We don't believe in othering in this party. We believe in organizing, and every voice ought to have a voice. I simply say it's important that we also not only understand that we don't believe in othering, but here's the next point, and that is we are a party of what's possible. I like that right there, because understand the Republicans are all about fear, gaslighting, and lying. That's all they do. But the Democrats, if we're going to do this thing right, we have to make sure we're the party of what's possible. The party that believes all of us have the ability, if we have opportunity, to fulfill our potential, if we have the right policies. But then finally, we are the party that's going to stand 10 toes down, because now it's time for us to step up and speak out. Now is the time for us to step up. Now is the time for us to recognize that we have a responsibility to gather as a party. You didn't feel that? I'll make it plain. Mary McLeod Bethune put it like this. She said, if I have one finger trying to get your attention, it may work. But if I put two fingers together, you may turn around. But you let me organize the fingers into a fist, and I've got power to make a difference. Here's why we have gathered at IBOC today. We've gathered to organize our fingers into a fist, because if we organize our fingers into a fist, that is what real power is. Let's organize, let's strategize, let's step up, because November is around the corner. The Republicans are scared because they saw us show up and show out during the primary. They are running scared because they don't have a vision. They don't have solutions. They're running scared because they're presided over by a cult leader who is presiding over the most corrupt administration in the history of this nation. They are running scared because they recognize that this administration has not been about America first. It's about being aligning his pockets first, as well as the pockets of his billionaires' buddies. They are running scared because Democrats are coming together. Democrats are rising up, and Democrats are not running away from faith, because we recognize that all of the great religions nations of the world believe in the values of justice, believe in the values of giving a voice to those who have no voice. They believe what Jesus said when in the judgment, Jesus says, I'm going to separate the sheep from the goats, the nations. And when I do that, I will say, I was hungry, did you feed me? Thirsty, did you give me something to drink? In prison, did you visit me? A stranger, did you come see about me? Y'all didn't feel that. Let me remix it Freddie Haynes style. Jesus may well say, I was hungry and you cut SNAP benefits. I was thirsty and you contaminated water in Flint, Michigan and Jackson, Mississippi. I was a stranger and you unloosed ICE agents and killed me right there in Minnesota. I was in prison because of your criminal injustice system. And America will say, when did we do this? Jesus will say, through your public policy, in as much as you did it to the least of these, you are also doing it unto me. And so that's why we stand as Democrats 10 toes down. I close with this. I believe it was the great Thurgood Marshall who put it this way. He said, you do what's right and let the law catch up. I like that. Do what's right, Democrats, and eventually the law will catch up. Marie Daniel Favors piggybacks on that and tells a story about a third grade class that assembled for class, and the teacher, Pastor Rush, shocked the class joyfully by putting a bowl with a goldfish swimming in water on the desk. Pastor Rush, Reverend Tallarico, what happened then blew their mind. The teacher said to that stunned class, excited about the goldfish, I'm about to leave this class, but before I do, I'm taking the goldfish out of the bowl and putting it on this desk. If any of you try to rescue this fish, I'm going to suspend you from this school. And the students sat there stunned. How could their kind, loving teacher kill a goldfish? The teacher then left after putting the goldfish on the desk, a structure not designed for it to thrive. As soon as she left, the goldfish, can you see it on the screen of your imagination, flipping, flopping, gasping for air? And while flipping, flopping, gasping for air, the students sat there petrified because the goldfish was dying, but the teacher had threatened them with expulsion if they did not get that, if they got the goldfish and saved it. Well, y'all, finally someone got up, ran to the front of the classroom, and she grabbed the goldfish. It leaped out of her hand, and she said, are you all just going to sit there and let the fish die? The whole class got up. They rushed to the front of the classroom, surrounded the goldfish, and together, as their coalition came together, a coalition of different hands came together, saved the goldfish, put it back into the goldfish bowl, and here's your shout. They rushed back to their seat, and James, what blew my mind is the teacher opens up the door, and the teacher says, congratulations, all of you get an A, because the lesson for today was that always do the right thing, even if the consequences are going to get you in trouble. What was she saying? You got to get in good trouble. And when we come together, we can save this democracy. If we come together, we can save this economy. If we come together, all of us can have health care. If we come together, we can make sure that everyone has a right to a quality education. If we come together, we can get rid of economic insecurity. Let's come together and not miss this opportunity. This is our time. This is our day. Democrats, stand up, step out, and stand 10 toes down on what we believe, because now is the time. Peace.
When I was 28, I almost died. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. When I picked up my first insulin prescription, it cost me $684. I couldn't afford that. Most Texans can't either. So when I got to the Texas House, I took on Big Pharma and capped insulin at $25 a month. I'm James Tallarico. I know what it means to fight for my life. I approve this message because in the Senate, I'll fight for yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable James Tallarico, Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate, to the stage.
Thank you. It's so good to be in Dallas, Texas. Thank y'all for having me. We are building a movement to take back our state and take back our country. All of you are part of this movement. You're on the front lines. All of you here in DFW, you shocked the nation when you flipped a state Senate seat in Tarrant County, Texas. And in November, we will shock the world by flipping a U.S. Senate seat right here in Texas. We launched this grassroots campaign for the U.S. Senate 6 months ago in my hometown of Round Rock, Texas. And since then, tens of thousands of Texans have shown up to rally with us in every corner of this state, from Beaumont to El Paso, from Amarillo to Brownsville, and everywhere in between. And I can't tell you the number of people who come up to me after these events and whisper, "I'm not a Democrat," like they're in the witness protection program. We have recruited more than 35,000 volunteers who are doing the organizing work in communities across this state. And we have shattered grassroots fundraising records, all without taking a dime from corporate PACs. This is a people-powered movement to take on this broken, corrupt political system. This is truly a campaign of, by, and for the people. All of you are now part of this campaign. We're not just trying to win an election. We are trying to fundamentally change the politics in this state and in this country. My granddad was a Baptist preacher in South Texas, and he told me when I was real little that we're supposed to follow the 2 commandments that Jesus gave us: love God and love neighbor. My faith teaches me to love my neighbor as myself, not just my neighbor who looks like me, not just my neighbor who prays like me, not just my neighbor who votes like me. I am called to love all of my neighbors the way I love myself. That second commandment is what motivated me to go into public service. First, as a public school teacher on the west side of San Antonio, and now as a public official in the Texas House of Representatives. I launched my very first campaign for the State House 8 years ago, back home in Williamson County, a county that was so red it hadn't voted for a Democrat for president since Jimmy Carter. I was told that the race was unwinnable. I was told flipping a Trump district was impossible. I was told I was too young. I was told I didn't have the money or the political connections to win. But my neighbors and I, we ran an aggressive, authentic, unorthodox campaign that brought people together. And on election night, we flipped that district with 51% of the vote. Now, I'm in my 4th term in the Texas House. I have brought Democrats and Republicans together to take on corporate special interests, to lower the cost of housing, lower the cost of childcare, lower the cost of prescription drugs, including insulin. I am trying to love my neighbor through public policy. I'm trying to make my neighbor's life a little easier and a little better. But that kind of love in our politics has been hard to find. There is something broken in America. Our economy is broken. Our political system is broken. Even our relationships with each other feel broken. And that's because the most powerful people in the world want it that way. The billionaires who own the social media algorithms, who own the cable news networks, who own the politicians fighting on our screens, they want us at each other's throats. They want us focused on how we're different instead of on how we're the same. They divide us by party, by race, by gender, by religion, by culture, so we don't notice that they are picking our pockets, that they are robbing us blind. They're closing our public schools. They're gutting our health care. They're raising taxes on all of us while they cut taxes for themselves. It is the oldest strategy in the world: divide and conquer. The real fight in this country is not left versus right, it's top versus bottom. I don't know about y'all, but I am tired of being pitted against my neighbor. I'm tired of being told to hate my neighbor. It's been more than 10 years of this kind of politics. Politics as blood sport. Politics as trolling and owning. Politics as total war. It tears families apart. It ends friendships, and it leaves us all feeling terrible all the time. There is a deep hunger in this state and in this country for a different kind of politics. We're not going to defeat the politics of division with more division. We can't win their game. We have to change the game. This campaign, this movement is rooted in a fierce love for our state, for our country, and most importantly, for all of our neighbors. If you hate politics and you've never voted before, you have a home in this movement. If you have voted for Democrats, but you're tired of Democratic politicians always folding, you have a place in this movement. And if you voted for Donald Trump, but you are fed up with the extremism and the corruption in our government, you also have a place in this movement. We're done being divided. We're done being pitted against each other. We're done being played. This is not a politics of division. This is a politics of love, a love that can heal what's broken in America. This new politics is being born right here in the Lone Star State. The number of young people who showed up in this Democratic primary is unprecedented. The number of first-time voters who showed up in this Democratic primary is unprecedented. And the number of independents and Republicans who voted in this Democratic primary is unprecedented. I did not generate this historic turnout on my own. I did it with my friend and your champion, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. It was a true honor to run this race with her. I am so grateful for her voice, for her example, and for her leadership. To the Congresswoman's supporters, I know I wasn't your first choice, but I hope to earn your trust and earn your support. My responsibility as your Democratic nominee is to make sure that you feel welcomed in, represented by, and proud of this campaign. It doesn't matter what happens in this Republican runoff. We already know who we're running against: the billionaire mega donors and their corrupt political system. Not any one politician, not any one political party. We are running against this broken system and the powerful people who broke it. They're scared of this movement that we're building in Texas. They're going to throw everything they have at us. They're going to call me a radical leftist. They're going to call me a fake Christian. They're going to call our movement un-American and un-Texan. They'll call us a threat. The only truth is we are a threat to their corruption. And there is no better proof of that corrupt system than what they did to this community on Election Day. That voter suppression that we saw in my home of Williamson County and in Dallas County is proof that they will do whatever it takes to hold on to power. They are afraid of what we can do together. They wouldn't be trying so hard to stop y'all from voting if your vote didn't matter. They turned away Texans from their polling places. They prevented Texans from exercising their God-given rights at the ballot box. This voter suppression is unacceptable. Now they're trying to pass the SAVE Act to save their corrupt political system. We can't tolerate this. We can't put up with this. This is a death rattle of a dying politics, and it underscores the need for us to win political power in November. Neither John Cornyn nor Ken Paxton deserve the honor of representing this great state in our nation's capital. Both of them are far more interested in serving their billionaire mega donors than serving the people of Texas. Both of them have sold us out time and time again. Ken Paxton's crimes are well known. I was part of the bipartisan majority in the Texas House of Representatives that voted to impeach our corrupt Attorney General. But I think that John Cornyn is even more corrupt than Ken Paxton, because John Cornyn was the deciding vote on that big, ugly bill. That big, ugly bill that's going to kick millions of Texans off their health care. That big, ugly bill that's going to take food out of the mouths of hungry Texas children, all to give yet another tax break to his billionaire donors. We oftentimes think corruption is something that's illegal, but corruption is really just the betrayal of the public's trust. It is the abuse of a public office. And by casting that deciding vote on that big, ugly bill, John Cornyn committed an act of corruption of the highest order, and he has forfeited his right to represent all of us in the United States Senate. Can I tell y'all something that bothers me? Both Cornyn and Paxton like to say that they stand for freedom, family, and faith. But you can't stand for freedom and control what we say, what we watch, what we read, or what we do with our own bodies. You can't stand for family and vote against paid family leave, affordable child care, and our neighborhood public schools. And Dr. Haynes, you can't stand for faith and sell out the sick, the poor, and the vulnerable, all to give more tax cuts to the rich. John Cornyn and Ken Paxton don't stand for freedom, family, and faith. They stand for control, cruelty, and corruption. And it's why we have to defeat them in November. Many of you know that in addition to my public service, I'm a student in seminary, studying to become a minister like my granddad. And I know that things are dark right now, so I thought I would leave you with a little pastoral care. Like many of you, I am tempted by hopelessness. I'm tempted by despair. And when I'm feeling this way, there's a verse of Scripture that I return to. And I hope it can be a gift to you, whether you're religious or not. It's in the Gospel of Luke, when Jesus says something really strange. He says, "Blessed are you who weep." And that's strange because how can someone who's weeping be considered blessed? In this country, we tend to avoid grief. But I think we forget that grief can be fertile soil. Sometimes we see the world most clearly through our tears. If your heart is breaking as you watch what happens to our beloved country, it means you still have a heart. I want you to trust that. I want you to protect that, because that is what's going to get us out of all this. Resistance starts right here, by refusing to mirror the hate and the violence and the inhumanity that surrounds all of us. There has never been a more important time to be a human being. I'm tempted by hopelessness. I'm tempted by despair. But then I show up in Dallas, Texas, and I see a room full of neighbors trying to figure out how they're going to save this state and save this country. And all of a sudden, I feel a little bit of hope again. And a little bit of hope is a dangerous thing. The fact that all of you are here today means you haven't given in to hopelessness. And that means the bullies haven't won yet. Action is the antidote to despair. You can't wring your hands when you're rolling up your sleeves. We have a lot of work to do, Dallas, Texas, but I am confident, I feel it in my bones, that we are going to win this election. We're going to take back this state, and we're going to take back this country. God bless y'all. Thank you for being here. Let's go win this thing. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Cardell Coleman. Where's he at? Sorry.
All right. Y'all still praying for the DJ? All right. Thank you, Pastor Rush. We didn't even know months ago as we were planning this convention that we would have two faith leaders end up giving their keynote addresses at a house of faith. And I think that's very important because our country needs moral leadership now more than ever. So give it up for them one more time. I believe our keynotes will be here for a few more moments. And then our party business may be the thing that's standing between you and your lunch. So we do have party business that we have to delve into. Our speakers will be here for a few more moments. But before we do that, Democrats, I know we have our party business. People have been on pins and needles. That's why we put our speakers up first. People have been on pins and needles about how we conduct our business. I think we heard great from Dr. Haynes. I just want to preface us for folks who are guests, folks who are first-time delegates. When we handle business, it could be a little tedious at times, but we want to make sure we have a smooth process today because, again, I'm the person standing between you and your lunch break and the rest of your work today. Also, I want to say that we should not let our party business block us from being about that action, all right? All right, so we have action-oriented things to do, like the rest of this convention, mobilizing, organizing, and so we're going to run through our party business. If our temporary committee chairs will please join me in the aisles at either microphone. I know we have nominations, rules, and credentials. If you will please stage and be ready so that we can conduct party business today. I'll give you just a few moments to make it this way. Temporary chairs of nominations, rules, perfect, they're right here, and credentials. Also, if you are a committee member, we are attempting to stay on schedule today, so if you are a committee member, active committee member, your committees are still meeting, am I correct? Committees are still meeting, so if you are an active committee member, please return to your committee room so that we can keep process and keep on track for today's meeting. All right, thank you all so much. For those who are going back to your committee rooms and your committee assignments, we have a little bit of party business before we break for lunch, so if you hang tight with us, we won't be too long. And if you help us out, we'll help you get to lunch really soon. I want to make sure that everyone has a moment to get to where they need to be. While we're doing that, I know we acknowledged elected officials earlier, but I want to acknowledge a few that's come in the room since then. I see Constable Deanna Hammond, the Honorable Deanna Hammond, who's leading up our security for today. Constable, where are you? Thank you for being here. We have some of our countywide elected officials here as well. We have County Judge Clay Jenkins that I saw in the room since we've announced. Also, we have countywide, our district attorney-elect, Honorable Amber Givens is here. I saw her earlier. And then, of course, I want to recognize someone that you'll hear from a little bit later. That is our Congresswoman from currently the 32nd Congressional District, the Honorable Julie Johnson, who's here as well. All right, the Dallas County Convention will convene and now come to order. My name is Cardall Coleman. As the chair, I am your county chair, and I'm the permanent convention chair per the Texas Election Code. Our convention is governed by the Texas Election Code and the rules of the Texas Democratic Party, and the most recent version of the Roberts Rules of Order newly revised. None of these rules can be suspended at the convention. As we conduct business today, if you have any questions about the rules, please approach the appropriate microphone to raise your point of information, and I will attempt to answer your question. Filing for resolutions is now closed. Right, so we governed with temporary chairs that got us to this point. They did a lot of work to get us here, but now we need to appoint our convention chairs for this convention. So as permanent convention committees were not previously approved at the CEC, that's our our county executive committee meeting, our precinct chairs, the convention must approve their appointments. The chair appoints credentials committee chair, the Honorable Jasmine Flores. Nominations, the Honorable Stacy Williams. Platform and resolutions, the Honorable Angela King. Rules and procedures, the Honorable Randall Bryant. Unless there is any objection, these permanent committee chairs are approved. She said that's her grandson. All right, now to our credentials report. Texas Democratic Party's rules define the temporary role as the list of persons who have pre-registered or registered on site. The Credentials Committee is responsible for recommending the permanent role of delegates who will serve for the remainder of this convention. They will also hear any contests or any challenges concerning the seating of delegates. The chair of the Credentials Committee is now recognized to give the committee report.
Thank you, Chair. 354 delegates have checked in. No contests were filed, so the Credentials Committee recommends that the list of delegates provided to the Secretary be seated at this convention. By direction of the committee, I move adoption of the permanent convention rule.
All right, we have another countywide elected official who has come in, and that's Sheriff Marion Brown. Sheriff, if you're here, would you? Thank you for being here, Sheriff. Okay, all of our state representatives who were brave and showed Texas what it looks like to fight, are you here? Would you please stand and wave your hand? I know many of them were with us at the breakfast, so I want to thank you all for being here as well. Okay. Now, our standing rules. The Rules and Procedure Committee recommends any convention standing rules to be used during the remainder of these conventions. These rules may include such items as time or limits of debate, times and limits of speeches, amendments, etc. The Rules and Procedure Chair is now recognized to give the rules report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me do a quick temperature check. Where's CD5 delegates? Where are you all right now? Give me a CD5 or CD6. Okay, 24. 30, CD30. 32. And where's 33? Okay, now that's going to be the last time y'all get to just shout out a turn. So we're about to read the rules and govern ourselves accordingly after I read them. I gave everybody a chance, though. All right, Chair, the Rules and Procedures Committee recommends the following convention standing rules be adopted. Standing rules of the Dallas County Democratic Party Convention, March 21st, 2026. Number one, parliamentary authority. The rules contained in Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, shall govern the convention in all cases where they are applicable and not inconsistent with the rules of the Texas Democratic Party, the call to convention, or the standing rules. Number two, delegates. Only credentialed delegates certified by the Credentials Committee may vote, make motions, or speak in debate. There shall be no alternates. Three, tellers. The congressional district chairs shall serve as tellers and shall count votes within their respective districts sections when a counted vote is required. Four, debate. To ensure fair participation and efficient use of time, debate on any item is limited to 10 minutes total. Speakers are limited to 1 minute each. Debate shall alternate between speakers in favor and opposed when possible. No delegate may speak more than once on the same question. The chair should recognize speakers from different congressional districts when possible. Five, microphones. The convention shall use designated microphones for speakers in favor, pro, speakers opposed, con, points of order or parliamentary inquiry. Delegates must approach the appropriate microphone and be recognized by the chair before speaking. Number six, consent calendars. The Rules Committee and Resolutions Committee may place non-controversial items on a consent calendar. The consent calendar may be adopted in a single vote without debate. Any delegate may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar. Removed items shall be considered separately. Seven, amendments. Amendments must be submitted in writing to the convention chair or secretary. Debate on amendments follows the same limits as the main motion. Eight, voting. Votes may be taken by voice vote, standing vote, or counted vote. The chair may call for a standing or counted vote if the result of the voice vote is unclear. Nine, closing debate. A motion to close debate requires a 2/3 vote. 10, order of business. The convention shall proceed generally as follows. 1, credentials report. 2, adoption of standing rules, which is what we're doing right now. 3, nominations report. 4, rules committee report. 5, resolutions committee report. 6, congressional district caucuses. And 7, adjournment. The chair may adjust the order of business to facilitate the efficient conduct of the convention. 11, suspension of rules. These standing rules may be suspended by a 2/3 vote 12, adoption. These standing rules take effect immediately upon the adoption of the convention. And finally, 13, debate on standing rules. Debate on the proposed standing rules shall be limited to 10 minutes total, with speakers alternating in favor and opposed. When possible, speakers shall be limited to 1 minute each. Amendments to standing rules must be submitted in writing to the chair. By the direction of the committee, I move adoption of the proposed convention standing rules.
Unless there's an objection, the proposed convention standing rules are adopted. At this time, we must select a permanent convention secretary. Nominations are now open for the position of permanent convention secretary. Nominations do not require a second, and delegates do not need to be recognized to nominate. But the person making the nomination and the nominee must be on the permanent roll of the convention. I nominate Kristen Schamberger. Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed, and the permanent convention secretary, as there is only one, is Kristen Schamberger. Thank you, Judge Schwartz. As the convention chair, I appoint the Honorable Stacy Brown, as the convention parliamentarian. I want to make sure you were here. If the number of persons who are indicated among, actually, let me take a step back. I nominate Stacy Brown. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. Okay, now for our nominations report. If the number of persons who indicated upon signing in that they wish to attend the state convention is less than or equal to the number of delegates each of the congressional districts is allocated, then a motion shall be made to suspend the precinct chair caucus and the selection of at-large delegates to elect all persons who have indicated a desire to attend the state convention by acclamation. At this time, the chair of the nominations committee is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The number of persons indicating that they wish to attend the state convention from each of the congressional districts are as follows. Congressional District Number 5. Congressional District Number 5 has 48 persons indicating an interest in attending the state convention, and there are 189 delegates allocated for Dallas County in Congressional District Number 5. Congressional District Number 6. Congressional District Number 6 has 19 persons indicating an interest in attending the state convention, and there are 64 delegates allocated for Dallas County in CD6. Congressional District 24. Congressional District 24 has 55 persons indicating an interest in attending the state convention, and there are 147 delegates allocated for Dallas County and Congressional District 24. Congressional District 30. Congressional District 30 has 119 persons indicating an interest in attending the state convention, and there are 322 delegates allocated for Dallas County and CD 30. Congressional District 32. Congressional District 32 has 69 persons indicating an interest in attending the state convention, and there are 237 delegates allocated for Dallas County and CD 32. Congressional District 33. Congressional District 33 has 110 persons indicating an interest in attending the state convention, and there are 350 delegates allocated for Dallas County in CD 33. On behalf of the committee, I move that we suspend the precinct caucuses and select a selection of at-large delegates for each congressional district, and to elect all persons who have indicated a desire to attend the state convention and represent their CD by acclamation.
I hear our registered parliamentarians in the room yelling out, "We don't need a second." So thank you all who are well-versed. Right, so to that point, coming out of committee, the motion needs no second. And is there any objection?
Point of information, Chair. Here.
Yes, ma'am. Member
First
White.
of all, good morning to you, sir.
Morning.
I was wanting to know, for instance, I heard that Congressional District 33 has 110 delegates here apparently on the floor. We have a total of 350 slots, so that leaves us with approximately 240 more slots. If there's anyone who would want to go to the state convention as a delegate, because I did talk to someone who said they weren't able to attend, how would we get their names recognized?
Okay. Those individuals could be filled up to 30 days after today, and then we will also need to reach out to the state Texas Democratic Party to increase our allocations.
And so will we need to go to which website, or who do we need to call in order to get them as delegates?
You can see our convention manager and then also our credentials chair to make sure that our convention secretary and our credentials chair today to make sure those names that you have, if you have those individuals. But what we learned just a few minutes ago in the nominations report is that we are under allocation. So I don't think that will be an issue for us. I would love for everyone here to join us in Corpus Christi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, who is the secretary, number one? I went upstairs, resolution to turn in to handle some business, I'm gonna say that.
No problem. We just elected our convention secretary, which is the Honorable Kristen Schamberger, and our credentials chair, the Honorable Jasmine Flores. Would you please wave your hand so be recognized? Thank you. Member Griggs.
Point of information, Mr. Chair. In answer partly to the previous question, I'm David Griggs, SDEC 24, and delegation leader here. Anybody that would like to go to the convention who was not here today, it is up to the delegation chairs and the SDEC members in each of those districts to work the phones and talk to people to try to fill those extra seats. So we will be trying to fill those desperately here in the next 3 weeks.
Thank you. Thank you. So as soon as we adjourn here and we break out for our congressional district caucuses, make sure you talk to your CD chair to make sure that they understand who you are and then any questions you have for them. Yes, ma'am.
Point of information, Vicki Parker. I'm a Foster Democrat in Collin County. I am in Congressional District 32, which means I have a foot in Dallas County, Collin County, and Rockwall County. So I would like to be one of the delegates to the state convention for CD 32.
Okay, would you please see your CD chair in 32, which is Omar Jimenez. Omar, are you here? Sorry, 33. What number did you say?
32.
32. Okay, if you would see your CD chair, Larry Simpson, who is here, right behind you. The Honorable Larry Simpson, right there, the guy waving at you, he will help to get you coordinated. Thank you for showing up to your neighboring county. Okay, coming out of committee, the motion needs no second. Is there any objection? Hearing none, this motion is carried. Okay, now we are at the point where we are going to recess. The convention will now recess for lunch and our congressional committee district breakout. We will reconvene here at 2 p.m. Make sure you enjoy lunch. Go to your congressional district breakouts. We will reconvene here with more speakers for you this afternoon. Thank you. I'll see you this afternoon at 2 p.m.
Because the food isn't even on the shelf. People can't go to the doctor because their health premiums are so out of reach, they can't get coverage. Or if the coverage they do have, they can't use because insurance companies put every roadblock in the way to keep you from accessing the care that you deserve and that you need. Energy prices now, gas is at an all-time high since 2022, and it's only going up. It's $100 a barrel. They're saying it's going to be $175 because of an illegal war that this president put in place. The squeeze is happening everywhere. Childcare. Many families have to choose between one parent staying home or working because they can't afford childcare or there's not enough spots. It's hard to get all the ends to meet. And it's really important that we have candidates up and down the ballot who get that, who understand that. I remember when I was in law school, I was so poor, I ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I lived on 3 boxes of mac and cheese for $1. That was a long time ago when you could buy 3 boxes of mac and cheese for $1. And we're not going to talk about how old I am. But you know, you never forget. I was able to get an education because I could qualify for Pell Grants because I didn't have the resources to pay for school myself. I was able to qualify for student loans. And as a result of that, I graduated from the University of Texas. I was able, hook 'em horns, I was able to go on to law school and have a successful career. I was able to start my own business, employ people, be a small business owner, knows what it's like to have to find trained workforce, to have to pay all the bills, rent, health insurance. Are you going to make that choice to provide health coverage for your employees? And I always did. And it is tough to be a small business owner with tariffs. You don't know how the cost of anything you're going to buy, the future of how you're going to be able to keep your employees. And now, on top of all of that, we have this oppressive, Gestapo-like, rogue attack on our immigrant families that is unacceptable in this country. I sit on Homeland Security. I'm on the subcommittee for the border. I've had a chance to interrogate Kristi Noem myself. I've had a chance to interrogate the head of ICE myself. And I have said to them, this is not okay. What you are doing is wrong. It's unconstitutional, it's illegal, and it must stop, and you must resign, or we are going to impeach you. This cannot be allowed to happen. And just last week, one of my constituents here in Richardson was wrongfully detained, and unfortunately he died within 24 hours of being in ICE custody. And you know what? No one could get into that building but me. They turned everyone away, but they cannot turn away a member of Congress. And I know that, and I'm like, the hell, they're not going to turn me away. I went march my happy self down there because we are going to hold them accountable. And that's what it means. Are you going to have people that represent you that show up and that actually do the work? The biggest threat that we have is to our elections. If we cannot vote, if they take away our democracy, it is all lost. The SAVE Act is an existential threat to everything we hold dear. It's absolutely terrible. I'm on House administration for elections. This bill is right before me. I was just arguing about it last week in Washington. I want you to know we have been able to defeat this thing so far. We're going to keep working till we defeat it and bury it once and for all, and the SAVE Act will never become the law of this land. what an exciting day primary was. People say, have you lost your mind to say that because you came in a runoff? I'm like, well, you know what, look. We thought in our race there'd be about 30,000 people that would turn out to vote. 72,000 people voted on our primary, y'all. 72,000 people. Do you know how amazing that is? That we almost tripled what the historical primary turnout was in a congressional district. What does that tell you? And almost 20,000 people had never voted before, in a primary at least. That means people are pissed. That means people are fired up. People want to say, I don't approve with what's happening in my country, and the way I can show that disapproval is to vote at the ballot box, and by God, I'm going to vote. I'm going to wait in a 3-hour line. I will not be denied, and I cast my ballot. And I think that is awesome. So what does it mean for all of us? It means we need to harness that energy. We are the leaders of the Dallas County Democratic Party. Your precinct chairs, your elected officials, your club presidents, you are the backbone and the breadth of what we do here. And it is up to all of us to make sure those 72,000 people become 210,000 people, that we triple that number in November, that we do everything we can to deliver Dallas County for our statewide candidates so Gina Hinojosa can be our next governor, and James Talarico can be our next senator, and my friend John Rosenthal can be the next railroad commissioner. We need to do this because, as we started, people are hurting. People need us. They need results. The Republicans have failed the people of Texas. Democrats will deliver. I hope you keep me in this fight. It's my honor to represent you now. Go Democrats, go blue, vote in the runoff, vote in November. Thank you so much.
I'm John Rosenthal. I'm a career engineer, not a career politician. I've spent 25 years in the energy industry and 4 terms in the Texas House fighting for accountability and reform. I wrote legislation to end wasteful gas flaring, to require energy companies to weatherize, and to strengthen protections for our air, water, and our families. While the Commission looks the other way, allowing polluters to dump waste and flare gas, I'll put Texans first, holding industry accountable and leading Texas into a growing energy future that creates new jobs. I fought for public education, healthcare, and democracy, and now I'm ready to take on one of the most corrupt offices in the state of Texas and return it to the people. Protecting Texans isn't partisan, it's just common sense. And common sense is what I'll bring to the Railroad Commission. I'm John Rosenthal. Let's fix the Railroad Commission and build a safer, stronger, more prosperous Texas for all of us.
Now, introducing Representative John Rosenthal, dramatic Democratic nominee for Railroad Commissioner.
Dallas County Democrats, how y'all doing? Thanks for inviting me. I'm honored to speak at the inaugural Dallas County Democratic Convention. This is cool. Man, what a space. And thank you, Chairman Coleman, for having me. So if you didn't already know, my name is John Rosenthal, and I am your Democratic nominee for the Texas Railroad Commission. Many folks hear that and think it's about choo-choo trains. Dallas County, I'm telling you, it's not. It's all about regulating oil and natural gas industry and operations in the state of Texas. To me, it's about lowering your utility bills. It's about fixing your rickety power grid so that you don't have to hope and pray that the power stays on every time a storm moves through Dallas. But I digress. I should tell you a little bit about who I am. If you didn't see the video, I'm a career mechanical engineer. I spent over 25 years working in the oil and gas industry. I have worked on drilling rigs and offshore platforms, pipelines, and processing facilities. We used to call ourselves oil field trash because we got muddy and greasy and dirty. Before I ever got into politics, I did the big projects that bring, all over this planet, that bring power to Texas and power to the world. And I was so happy with my life. I made good money. I enjoyed my work. I did offshore deep water technology, really cool stuff. And then 2016 happened. And I was like, yeah, that just broke something in me. And this was a time when I felt that people of means and good conscience should step up to serve their communities. And so I decided to run for office. And in 2017, I defeated a 24-year incumbent to flip a district in Northwest Harris County from red to blue. Listen, I am so proud to be part of a group of 12 who flipped districts in 2018. My classmates, like Congresswoman Julie Johnson, like James Tallarico and Vicki Goodwin. These are real change makers, and I'm proud to be in that group. And these are fighters that know how to win, know how to face down horrible politics, and bring it home. So, after 4 terms in the Texas House, fighting for public education, access to health care, simple moral decency, and your basic human rights. You know, I was here for the redistricting hearings, if any of you came to that. I was the vice chair on that committee, very outspoken. But so after that, people ask me, why are you running for the Railroad Commission? Well, first, subject matter expert. But I'll tell you what got me. Did anyone here freeze their backsides off in their own houses in 2021 in that winter storm area like I did? Do you remember what that was like? The legislature had to break for like more than a week because a bunch of the members could not get back to Austin because of the storm. And we come in and I'm like, hey, subject matter expert, I've got a plan. I have got stuff you can do. You don't even have to use my name, but here's what you need to put in. We need to weatherize natural gas facilities. And it may not mean much, but just saying that. But that was the heart of the failure. Natural gas froze off, starving the fuel of our electrical generators, and that's what turned the lights out in Texas, right? So I'm there and I'm saying, not only did we just have a cascade failure, it killed hundreds of our fellow Texans. And we can do something about that right now. And what do you think the Republicans said to me? They said, no way, we're not going to touch natural gas because big oil and our political power bosses don't want us to. We're not going to even go there. And I'm like, hundreds of people died, y'all. And I was like, I'm coming back for you. That's why I'm here today, because we're coming for them. You know our electric bills are all higher because of that, right? What Gina Hinojosa calls the Greg Abbott corruption tax, that's where natural gas billionaires make more billions of dollars and give million-dollar campaign contributions to the governor of this state, and then they want all of us to pay for it with a surcharge on our electric bills. It's an average of $40 more per household. I'm like, no, we should reverse that. Let the wealthy people that made billions off of this shoulder the burden of that load. That should not be on us. But the Railroad Commission is supposed to regulate oil and natural gas operations in Texas. You know, all the commissioners pretty much serve themselves and their interests. They don't regulate the industry at all. They let these folks go scot-free when they pollute our air, water, and land, or when they cause a massive winter storm failure. They reward them with extra money for that. That's why you need a fighter who's going to work for you at the Texas Railroad Commission. And together we're going to do it. Oh, I forgot, almost forgot. Here's the sweetest part about this primary for me. I'm unopposed. I'm your Democratic nominee. As soon as I stepped in the ballot box and hit it, I won, right? But I'm thinking a lot of people will skip it because when you see someone's unopposed, you know you don't have to hit that box. I got almost 1.9 million votes, y'all. There are 5 Republicans in the race. I was less than 1% away from beating all 5 of them put together. And that's because of you turning out to vote and bringing your friends and your activism. This is how we win, by working together, right? Dallas County Democrats, we have to do more than just keep Dallas blue. It is time to really crank up that machine, get out the vote so we can elect leaders like James Tallarico and Gina Hinojosa and hopefully me. Y'all need to help me defeat the most likely opponent I have. There's a guy named Beau French from Tarrant County. I don't know if you've heard of him. Outgoing chairman of the Tarrant County Republican Party, the guy that routinely posts vile hatred towards Muslims and Jews, can't decide which of us is a bigger threat to America. This Jewish man is ready to send him home in November. By working together, we can send that extremist home. I prefer to see him unemployed. So this is how it's going to go. We're going to work up and down the ballot. Y'all get your people, I'll get my people. But the statewide slate is so good with Tallarico at the top and Clayton Tucker, Vicki Goodwin, Gina Hinojosa, Nathan Johnson. I mean, we have got a great slate of candidates. Yes. We have got a great slate of candidates, and we'll all play a little bit different roles. So Clayton and I will spend more time in rural areas because that's a place that Democrats often forget about. But I'm oil field trash. Remember, I worked on drilling rigs. I can talk to folks who are in industry, and we need to just shake this rap about Democrats wanting to kill off the industry. We may be pushing for positive change, but we also push to keep the lights on in the state of Texas. And if you live in the same state I do, we need all the power we can get in this state right now. And that's the message we need to bring. Your jobs are safe. We need more jobs. We need to encourage emergent industries like wind, solar, geothermal, and hydrogen. All of the above. We want all that investment in Texas, and we need the power. I promise we need the electrons. And I'll talk to the agriculture and livestock people too, because while the fishermen and the citrus growers and the deer ranchers may not think of themselves as environmental conservationists, they need clean air, water, and land to do their business also, and so the Railroad Commission touches them as well. I'm happy to talk to those folks. And let's just bring some on board. By working together, we can win. And that's what I'm saying. I can't do it alone. I hope you'll get to know me a little better. Visit my website, johnrosenthaltx.com. Support the campaign. Please share my content on social media. The biggest hurdle in this is that people think the Railroad Commission is about trains. So before we can rename it to the Texas Oil and Gas Commission, which is what it should be called, we need to spread the word. And if you would do that, I would be super grateful. Dallas County, I want to thank you for welcoming me. I promise I will be back soon because the road to victory for statewide elections in Texas runs through DFW. My name's John Rosenthal. I'm ready to get to work. Let's go win this thing in November. Thank you all so much.
Please help us welcome a new generation of leadership in Texas. A community advocate, organizer, and former candidate for Congress in Texas' 18th Congressional District, Isaiah Martin.
What's up, Dallas? What's up, Dallas Democrats? Man, I am so fired up to be here with you guys this evening today, this afternoon, because we got some big business in front of us. We got to beat Republicans this November. First off, I want to thank your amazing chair, Cardell Coleman, for the amazing hospitality that he has shown me today. And I want to thank all of you for being here and being involved, because this election, as my friend John Rosenthal just said, runs through Dallas County, and we got to call that out every day of the week. You know, I was supposed to get here a little bit earlier, but we had some trouble in the airports coming out of Washington. And we already know that every single way we go, that Trump's fingerprints are on everything. You can't get through TSA, you got all kind of things with planes getting delayed. Trump's America is an America that cannot govern, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But I'm Isaiah Martin, and I do, in fact, love debating Trump supporters on the internet. It's my favorite thing to do. But I also love coming to these conventions because this is really the time for us to move out of primary season and into the general election. We all know that there was a lot of big battles in this room and in this county and across this state. It was tough primary campaigns, endless phone calls, fundraising texts, phone banking, and some candidates that we might have supported didn't make it ahead to the general election. But now is the time for all of us to understand that it's time to come together to unite behind the Democratic banner. Because what's facing America as it stands today is bigger than intra-party battles. It is bigger than politics. It is the future of America at stake right in front of us. It's on us every day to make sure that over the next few months that we pound our message about how the many promises that Donald Trump promised America just did not come to fruition. You remember when he said that he was going to bring our prices down on day one? That was a lie. He promised that we would have $something gas. That was a lie. He promised us no new wars around the world, but that was a lie. He promised us those checks, $2,000 checks, but that was also a lie. He promised more manufacturing jobs. That was a lie. He promised us that we wouldn't have to pay taxes. That was a lie. He promised us that just getting him in the White House was enough to be able to fix all of our problems and save the world, and that was a big, fat lie. Everything he said was a bold-faced lie. And we've got to make sure that we're telling our friends and our neighbors that Election Day this November will have to be Judgment Day of all of the broken promises that he has broken against the state of Texas and across the United States of America, because we cannot stand for that as we go further. But if you ever get frustrated, and I know that things are frustrating as it stands today because we know that our economy is not in a good position, I want you to feel some hope about the fact that Democrats are being successful all across the country. Look right around the road. We had Taylor Rimmet elected to the Texas State Senate out of Tarrant County. We're winning special elections here in Texas and Louisiana, Kentucky, and Georgia. That's why we won 12 competitive seats in Virginia in the Virginia House of Delegates. We flipped the Virginia House. We flipped the Virginia Governor's Mansion. All around this country, Americans are coming together to say that when Trump is in office, we've got to do better. But what I will say is that one of the biggest challenges in front of us is that right now in Washington, there's a lot of disinformation going on about how our votes are not important. And that's why I want to say to all those that are young people, the regular folks that go to work every single day, that if your vote was not important, Republicans would not be sitting in Congress trying to pass the SAVE Act. I know Julie Johnson highlighted that a little bit earlier. They're trying to pass a piece of legislation to where if you have to go and change your address, you don't not only have to show a driver's license. You got to show a passport, a birth certificate. Do you believe that Donald Trump will be trying to pass that if your vote didn't matter? It's on us to make sure that we remind people that Republicans are trying to do everything they can to try to roll back the clock. But even with all of the special election victories that we had, I almost fell out my chair the other day because I saw Donald Trump say that we Democrats are insane, that we belong in insane asylums, that we are crazy. He got on the stage, and I really laughed my tail off about this because I was scratching my head, and I thought, what's crazy to me is spending $2 billion a day on a war in the Middle East that none of us in this country asked for. What's crazy is doubling down on tariffs after they destroyed the job market. What's crazy is covering up the Epstein files to let human scum run around our nation scot-free. What's crazy is the fact that all of the policies that we know are destroying this country are being passed, and Republicans are sitting around barking like seals, passing every single one of them because they don't have an ounce of a spine to stand up for the people of this country. So, Donald, if you wanted a response from a Democrat, here it is, right back at you. Because the only thing that's going to be crazy is your face on Election Day this midterms when Democrats go and win all across this country and we flip the House, we flip the Senate, and we get people elected into office. So, my friends, this election, if you want to see that ugly face on Donald Trump's face, if you want to see him walk out to the cameras after we go and put a shellacking on him, because see, he remembers the 40 seats he lost back in 2018. He knows what's coming. If you want to see that face, I need you guys to go to every single friend you have and get them to the polls. And then I need you to get their friends to the polls so we can turn out Dallas County like never before and get the biggest turnout that we have ever seen in Dallas County. So we can send James Tallarico to the United States Senate. So we can send Freddie Haynes to the United States House. So we can send Gina Hinojosa to the governor's mansion. So we can send a majority in the House, in the Senate. And we can send Donald Trump a message that America is ready for us to take our country back. Thank you all so much. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Y'all ready to get it started? Y'all ready to get it started? They've already told you when we get it started, it's going to run right through Dallas County. All right. Look, we heard from a number of speakers today of all backgrounds, from all across our state, of all ages, and that's what it's going to take. We're going to have to build a diverse coalition. I want to thank all of our speakers, including our most recent speaker, Isaiah Martin, who traveled from out of town to be here. It's going to take expanding our coalition. Folks who have expanded platforms and networks. Isaiah, people ask, why was Isaiah on the list? Isaiah has over 4 million followers on social media. And it's going to take folks who can amplify the Democratic message for us to reach every voter that we can in our county and around the state of Texas. So I want to give it up to all the speakers who have been here today to share with us.
We have a little bit of party business before we close out. Thank you all for hanging out, for staying with us, going to your congressional district breakouts to make sure you get enough information. If you met someone new that you did not know today, whether it was in the congressional breakout or at lunch, will you please raise your hand? Take a look around the room. Keep those hands up. Take a look around the room. Thank you all. You can lower it. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take each of us meeting someone new, sharing our story, becoming organizers again. We have to get back to being individually organizers and sharing our story. That's what it's going to take to keep our party strong and to move our state forward. The convention will now come back to order, and we will resume with the Rules Committee report.
Mr. Chair, the committee received 11 proposed amendments to the Texas Democratic Party rules. The committee has reviewed all submissions and recommends that the following proposed rule amendments be placed on a consent calendar for consideration as a single item. The first rule is Rule 1001, rule to improve fairness within the Texas Democratic Party's state nominations committee for party officials, ordering of agenda. Rule 2 is Rule 1060 in support of operating budget amendment transparency. Rule 3 is, as presented, was Rule 1062 in support of ongoing financial transparency and reporting. And Rule 4 was Rule 1063, moving the county convention date. These items are recommended to be forwarded to the state convention without debate. Any delegate may request that a rule proposal be removed from the consent calendar for separate consideration. On behalf of the committee, I move adoption of the consent calendar.
I love y'all. You're so ready to second. The consent calendar has been moved by the committee and does not require a second. Any delegate may remove an item from the consent calendar without debate by stating the proper proposal number. Are there any requests to remove any items from the consent calendar? Right, hearing none, the consent calendar is approved as written before you. Thank you all. And I say written because you have the QR codes that you can scan. So as the other packages come, you can see them all on the QR code. They are written for you to scan there as well. Okay. AV team, if you could zoom us in just a little bit on the QR codes for visibility. The chair now recognizes the Platform and Resolutions Committee chair to give their committee report. The convention will stand at recess for 5 minutes to allow you to scan the QR code and to look at the resolutions.
We will allow 2 more minutes for folks who still need to look at the package. If you would scan the QR codes on the 2 outside screens, it may be more helpful to you. Scan the QR codes on the 2 outside screens. Not the one in the middle, but the 2 left and right. We will now reconvene and come back to order. The chair recognizes the Platform and Resolutions Committee Chair to give the committee report.
Good afternoon, Democrats. So I am Judge Angela King, County Criminal Court number 6. Hello, hello again. Woo, woo, woo. If you went all the way down that ballot, then I hope you saw my name. All right, here we go. So the chair recognizes, okay, you already did that. Let me see. The chair, the committee received all submitted resolutions and proposed amendments to the platform. The committee recommends the following proposals be placed on a consent calendar and forwarded to the state convention without debate. Number 2009, transgender rights and protections. Number 2014, resolution in support of abolishing ICE to advance border security, due process, and human rights. Number 2031, a resolution supporting universal access to countywide voting. Number 2062, a memorial resolution honoring the life and legacy of, and I'm going to add a little bit on this, this is just me, so it doesn't change, of the Honorable Judge Mary Teresa Toll from 1937 to 2026, and that dash, I'm telling y'all, y'all got to read this so y'all can know about her dash. The number 2072, moratorium on further data center and large industrial development. Number 2074, prioritizing utility, energy savings, and payment assistance programs. Number 2075, state implementation plan to reduce oil and gas methane emissions. Number 2105, resolution in support of abolishing ICE to advance border security due to human rights. Did I pass you? No, keep going? Okay, because it seems like that's a double one. Let me make sure. Yeah, I think so. Let me see. Hang on, y'all. Okay, number 2112, resolution in support of condemning the shameful leadership of Speaker Dustin Burrows and declaring no future Democratic support of his speakership. Right. Number 2125, transparency and accurate reporting of dismissed DUI cases following negative toxicology. Number 2126, eliminating qualified immunity of law enforcement. All right, number 2127, resolution honoring the legacy of Mabel Jeanette Janelle Zenon Williams of Beaumont, Texas, and supporting the preservation of Black military history. Okay, number 3019, local county control over county property taxes. Number 3024, resolution to amend the Texas state constitution to limit the term of office of governor to 2 terms. Let me see, number 3025, a resolution regarding the naming of federal buildings, airports, military installations, monuments, and similar federal facilities. Number 3026, independent federal ethics board. Number 3050, pursuant to 1 U.S.C. section 106B, the Archivist of the United States shall forthwith cause the amendment to be published with his certificate, equal rights amendment, and the 28th Amendment to the Constitution. Number 3108, legislation limiting speed enforcement to reliably accurate methods. That should have been changed. We actually amended that word to scientifically accurate methods. So we did do that amendment. Then D1, D, y'all, stands for they were filed today. Resolution condemning anti-Asian hate and extremist harassment. D3, resolution in support of the creation of a regional mobility authority in North Central Texas and the creation of novel funding mechanisms for regional mobility authority as a whole. D5, resolution in support of reforming funding mechanisms of TxDOT. D6, resolution in support of regulating and banning the use of automated license plate readers. Okay, let me fix that, hold on. D, because we did them in this one, so a resolution in support of regulating the use of automated license plate readers by law enforcement and in supporting the 4th Amendment of the Constitution. Okay, D7, let me see. Okay, resolution supporting nurse practitioners practicing to the full extent of their education, training, and licensure to expand access to care. D8, a resolution in support of women in history and leadership. And D9, a resolution in support of transparency, accountability, and justice for victims of abuse and exploitation. Any delegate may request that a resolution be removed from the consent calendar for separate consideration. On behalf of the committee, I move to adopt the adoption of the consent calendar. Doesn't require a second, it's coming from the committee. Here comes your chair.
Great job, Madam Chair. I love that our electeds are involved in our convention. Give it up for them. The
The consent calendar has been moved by the committee and does not require a second. Any delegate, as she mentioned, may remove an item without debate by stating a resolution number. Are there any requests to remove items from this consent calendar? I hear no request to remove items from the consent calendar. The consent calendar is adopted. Thank you all for showing up to this county convention. Not only just the rules package, but these consent calendars. We want to make sure that our party locally is strong, not just in the way of our organizing, but the messages and platforms we send to the state party and the state party convention. We want all of you to join us at the state party convention. Someone walked up to me earlier and said, where are the issue-based caucuses? And we will do more of those caucuses, breakouts, over the summer. We're going to have a freedom summer where we caucus amongst each other and we talk about what it is is important in these issue-based conversations. But hopefully you heard those in our resolutions. We will take that message and that same fight down to our state party convention in Corpus Christi. The state convention will be held June 25th through the 27th in Corpus Christi, and the convention chair or the delegates will submit the minutes, resolutions, rules to the state party, as well as the delegate roll for the next 30 days until the allotted delegates amount for each congressional district is reached. So we discussed that earlier, making sure that we have all of our slots filled to be able to go to the state convention.
Point of information?
Yes, ma'am. Member White.
Yes, sir. Two things. We were told in breakout it's 23. I kept hearing you say 30. That's the second time I've heard you say 30. So can you please confirm, is it 23 days that we have to fill these delegate slots, or is it 30 as you're stating?
It is 30 days.
Thank you so very much. My next question is, these are going to be on these resolutions along with how they were listed. Like, for instance, Judge just said it was 30-50 for she was the Rules Committee, correct?
Honorable Randall Bryant was rules. She was resolutions.
Resolutions. So the way that they're listing them as far as numbers are concerned is that going to be listed on a site so that we can go back and reference them?
We can do that. We can add them to our county convention page to where they stay there until we go to the convention, state convention.
Please do so.
We can add those.
I'm taking notes and I'm writing down numbers. And just another thing, because I know we got 2 more to come out. When they come out, can you have them to stay until you dismiss them in case we have a quick question? Because I didn't get the USC code, she said, because she was saying them so fast. So I'm just asking for the others that are coming out, can you have them stay until you dismiss them before you do your final approval?
No problem. That's doable.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Member White. If all of our committee chairs who are still here, if you could join me at stage right to answer any questions of the delegates or guests that they have. If our committee chairs for every committee, whether you are in a sanctuary or if you are around the building, make sure we get on the horn and reach those folks so we can answer any questions that you all have. Before we conclude today, I want to give a huge round of applause to folks that you saw in this building, those who are wearing blue vests. If you're wearing a blue vest, those are our DCDP volunteers. Will you please stand and be recognized? Chelsea Floyd in the room. I want to give a huge thank you to all of our volunteers and volunteer and precinct chair organizer Chelsea Floyd, who recruited nearly 100 volunteers to help serve for today. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to our operations team, the DCDP staff who helped put on this convention, making this happen for all of you today, the logistics team. And then a huge shout out and thank you to the ABOC team, Pastor Ricky G. Rush, and every volunteer, every AV person, every usher, every person who opened the door, every person who cooked a meal for us. We want to thank you for your hospitality and for allowing us to be in this beautiful building. As the business of this convention has concluded, we are adjourned. Thank you all.
We're at our 26th annual Fish Fry, and I brought my family here, some who've their first time at this event, to make sure that they're educated on the issues and to get a chance to meet some of these candidates. So we have to remember that we're organizers and reach out to each other.
I am so proud of the work all y'all are doing. Hey, everybody, hold on in.
We need you. Not just we as a party, but we as a country need you.
Need our voters to be out there doing the research, doing the work, and making sure that they are voting the best candidates in to run in the general election and to sit on our benches in Dallas County.
I'm so excited about what I believe is going to be the blue wave of Texas. Dallas County has been blue for a while, and I think that's going to spread throughout the state. It is so important that this party come together and be unified, and we are already seeing that happen.
I feel that what we are witnessing, especially in Dallas County, is an energy, not just in response to the political climate that we find ourselves in, but again, a fresh energy that recognizes that we can choose our future.